Welcome back. That was fast.
You weren't kidding.
I know, yeah, it's fast. Let's go into a draft right now. Navi versus Evil Geniuses. Before going into discussion of what's going on, what were your predictions coming into this game?
I predicted Navi to win this one.
Okay, so did I.
Navi for me, Bruno.
Are you the EG fan?
I also said Navi.
Fan clown?
I thought you said EG, Bruno. I thought it was the 3 BTS people.
Fan clown.
Fan
Navi
That's a
and
fan
you're an
clown.
I
EG.
did say EG, you're
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, I did say EG.
I said Navi. I believe, was it SUNSfan who said? I think there's at least one more EG.
It was syndereN, me, and SUNSfan say EG,
Yep.
and
Okay.
you three said
It was
Navi.
split 50-50 on this.
Yeah,
series.
that's pretty good.
We had the Davids standing up for what is just and right in the world.
And
We'll
we
see.
All right.
And we'll see a Chen for Navi.
Gods, you mentioned support picks that could be important. Something Navi have run a bit. I think not a ton of games though. At least I only saw one Chen game from them. Godlike had some good early rotations. He was fairly aggressive on his Chen, actually going for a smoke gank, I think around the 3-4 minute mark. So a bit different in style compared to what we normally see out of AUI.
Navi played Chen versus LGD and won, versus MVP Phoenix and won, and versus Hyperglory Team and won.
Okay.
Granted, none of these opponents were the hardest opponents of all, but they did, and they first picked it all 3 times.
Oh man, EG just laying their cards right on the table. Venge Drow, first 2 picks. Bam. They ain't messing around.
Beastmaster, Luna.
No, isn't it like
Oh, yeah.
Puck Visage?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Puck,
Visage.
Puck Visage.
And even if they don't get the Visage, because that's likely to get banned out, I think they just know Drow opens up so many more picks to be viable. Like the offlane Puck is so much stronger.
The Wind Ranger
The
support.
Wind Ranger support, offlane even.
Yeah.
You can't get her. She messes up the blue strat.
That is
Oh,
true.
The boys in blue. With
The boys in
The
blue.
boys in blue with the blue strat.
Yeah,
How
and
fitting.
Invoker as well would be very good, like Quaspex Invoker Soulmate with the draw aura.
Yeah.
But Navi's going for the IO plus Chen. Something that's really defensive, a lot of healing power.
Do they have to ban the AA just because they have these 2 picks?
The thing is, AA isn't generally the support partner that we see for this type
Yeah,
of strategy.
it's not
'Cause
It's
he's not something that really works well with the push.
Yeah, but you can always still adjust your draft against what your opponent has picked. So A is definitely still a very good pick against the Chen and the IO.
I think Navi don't expect it though. It's not something. I don't think EG have they run at this tournament the HDF version?
I can tell you.
I don't believe so.
I don't see in the last 10 matches, no.
Not in their last 10. But that, like you said, PPD, as Gods was mentioning, very good at adapting within drafts and within series. So definitely something he could still go back to.
Yep.
But they are going to ban the blue heroes. They'll get rid of Storm. Also, a hero that Sumail's been exceptional on. And Navi have picked 2 supports who have no lockdown. So this seems like a very smart ban.
How do you feel about Shadowfin being completely ignored and Troll being completely ignored?
Troll, Jug.
They could still run a Shadow Fiend. We saw that from, was it LGD? They ran the Drow Shadow Fiend. They also ran the Morphling Drow. I don't know how strong it is, but it worked for them.
I think it's too greedy. The Puck Invoker type heroes, I think, are generally better suited. I think Shadow Fiend plus Drow, you have 2 very vulnerable heroes that can get kind of punished easily by Wisp relocates. Something like a Jug pick for Havost.
What is this Wisp partner, do you guys think? Axe is banned, Troll is still out there, Jug is still out there.
Bristleback.
Bristleback is also out
seems-
there.
And did Navi even go? I think Navi may go for the Shadow Fiend for Dendi even.
They need a lot of firepower, but the other thing I'm worried for Navi is they lack a lot of lockdown for the Puck, especially. How are their supports going to be able to lock down and kill the Puck in team fights at the moment? It's so difficult, unless even if the Chen at best gets a throw and snare, it's still very difficult to get the disables on the Puck in the team fights. They need cores that can actually do well against Puck. And you guys mentioned Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend doesn't have a disable, but he will need to rely on the rest to actually lock the Puck down.
I
in
feel
team
that
fights.
if the Wisp wasn't there, this would be a very decent anti-mage game for Navi. Because you naturally go towards that Manta, so suddenly there's a lot of things that you can dodge on this joint. And just the ability to be on the face of Drow Ranger, just being able to mana burn the Puck is great. But with the IO, it's just a weird combination. You don't see Wisp anti-mage.
So Navi picked Beastmaster. Now, we have seen this hero in mid as well as offlane. Tinker liked to run it offlane for Bulba. We've seen Fada take it mid quite a few times. The Necro 3 Rush seems to be the go-to build right now. How do you guys expect the Beastmaster to be laned and played this game?
I think for Navi, they'll probably put Funnick on the hero because then Dandy will be on something else, and Beastmaster is a perfect hero to lock down a hero like Puck. They need that lockdown so badly.
And as far as the play goes, it's really nice for finding pickoffs with the relocate, the Hawk Vision. I think they even will go as far as to pick another core hero that can really benefit from the map control as far as being like either a greedy farmer that can farm safely with it, or a hero that can benefit a lot as far as pickoffs go.
Yeah, their draft right now, Beastmaster, Hawk, relocate, a lot of global presence. So,
But who's that hero then? Who do they want to go for?
I think Jug is almost better than Troll as far as getting in your face against a Drow Ranger. That seems to me like a good Havas
What's wrong with the Tiny?
yeah, I think
it's
Tiny
the
is
obvious.
Tiny is the obvious choice.
And even I would say, even though it's a hero that we don't see, Chaos Knight has the potential of Reality Rift
Sven?
cutting the distance.
Will we see a Sven finally?
Oh, we could make a big argument about Sven.
He is, in theory, very good against physical damage.
Behold the horn of Dundee.
But they go Magnus. Navi, this is going to be a super melee carry. He'll have Inner Beast, he'll have Tether. I mean, it could be the Troll for Havost, it could be the Juggernaut. All of these heroes would synergize very well with the Magnus Beastmaster Wisp.
The Jug is banned.
Superman Havost. It could even be the Bristleback still.
I think it's a throw though. It feels like it's a very good throw game. With the aura.
they're worried about the Juggernaut. They're going to ban it out now. Also a bit worried about the heal strat, I guess.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
look at it go.
he basically used very little time to draft PPD this game.
Full
he's
bonus time left. 1
he's
minute 50.
trying
We have
to
this planned.
Pressuring Navi here a bit.
I
But
feel
they
like
still have 50 seconds.
I feel like this entire draft was orchestrated like before it even began.
Mm-hmm.
As far as knowing they could get the Venge Drow, being able to take down towers fast, even though they're on the Radiant side, once they get the tier 1s down, they can move into Roshan. They're going to be looking to just snowball this game.
Yeah,
And Navi have not good lanes, not good early game fight at all.
Is this a Quas Wax Invoker? Or do you think
Yeah,
this is
Crossback Invoker, definitely.
They'll go PA.
Oh,
a
yes.
very good fighting
This is
carry.
a very good pick versus Drow Ranger. Very good pick.
BKB carrier, good a gap closer.
Mhm.
The Empower persists through BKB now. That was changed fairly recently. And it's a hero that just jumps on the Drow, and there's no way to really dislodge the PA. They do have a defensive swap. They have potentially Witch Doctor ulti, but even so, it is if PA gets farmed, it will be tough for EG to deal with that.
Yeah, and I think they also know they're going to have to be forced to fight fairly early on, and that's PA, despite being a hard character, can actually come to fights and look to contest at a reasonable time. Just with one item, with a BKB or something as your first item, and you get the empower damage from Dendi, this PA can actually pack a punch.
Yeah.
And there's not forget the amount of lockdown that Navi's lineup has with when you have Beastmaster, Roar, and RP. You're not relying on one single big ultimate to just try and win, but rather you have a lot of choices, and you can not initiate, but rather wait for the counter initiation.
Yeah, not to mention Navi having the Beastmaster is going to have a lot of ancient stacks for Havas to clear out later. So this game, I think Havas is going to get very big and very farm with all the heroes that are just basically designed to make the PA super strong in this game.
And if he gets big enough, it's very tough for EG
not
to
go-
stop
You know,
him.
I think he's like going to have it's going to be a very hard for EG to actually take him down with the Wisp, the Tether plus the Overcharge, and the Chen heal, and the Magnus and Beastmaster protecting the PA.
Yeah.
EG have a lot of just right-click damage, but it's not like they've got burst magic damage or anything that can quickly get kills.
Okay, guys, so we have the Dota cinema cast ready. SUNSfan and syndereN are going to cast this game. I think our time is done. Let's go to them and let's hope we have an amazing series between EG and Navi. SUNSfan, syndereN, take it away.
Thank you, Bruno. What an amazing introduction by everybody. syndereN, you need to put your mic down so you can actually talk correctly. How's that?
You didn't even notice before that. You just, or maybe you did, but you just waited until we got started so you
Did we
could
go
say it
over
on camera,
lineups?
right? Is that your plan? Well, yeah. Let's just let's introduce the lineups real quick for both teams. So, I will do EG and you will do Navi, and if you disagree, that's too bad. That's how we're
Good.
gonna do it. So, for EG, we've got PPD on the Vengeful Spirit, currently around that top area. We've got Aoi 2000 onto the Witch Doctor. Puck will be played by Universe in the off lane. Sumail will be playing on Invoker. He's played on that once or twice before this tournament, I think, maybe even 3 times. And finally, the Drow Ranger will be played by Fear.
And for Navi, if you could look at the scoreboard. Dendy's going to be playing the Magnus in the mid lane. You're going to have to bring your scoreboard up. There we go. Goblak playing the Chen. This is going to be interesting. Chavos is going to be playing the PA. Io by Vanscore. And Funnick on the Beastmaster with easily the best helm that I've ever seen, personally. So we're going to have a stun by PPD. It's going to connect on Vanscore, but he tethers to a creep. He'll be good and dandy. What do you think about this top lane overall? So we have the Puck, along with the Vengeful Spirit, in a dual lane of sorts.
I don't see them putting that much pressure on the Puck. They don't... The only real setup they have is to... They can run in the PA with Tether on, and they can show a Stifling Dagger. He can choose to dodge that or not with the Puck and just get out. And with the Venge there for the support, this should be a very easy lane for Universe to get pretty good farm in. I'm more worried for Navi's safe lane, which they do have a Chen in the jungle, but they need to secure PA to get good farm. This is a hero that plays really poorly from behind, and at the same time, their other solo lanes will be struggling a lot. The Beastmaster should be destroyed by Drow in lane, and then you've got Invoker versus Magnus made easily favoring the Invoker. We could be looking at 3 lanes won by EG.
Well, Na'Vi has been coming from behind a lot this tournament. I don't know. At the beginning, everybody was counting them out, but I feel like they've come back in stride and surprised a lot of people in general. Goblack is in the enemy jungle, takes over Tomato. Gonna harass Owie a bit, but Owie does have the Cask to work with. You didn't really talk about how effective Cask is against the Chen creeps. He's gonna be found out here. He's gonna be slowed by the Beast Spice. This is gonna be first blood going the way of Na'Vi. So screw your analysis.
Yeah, that's a good rotation from Chen. This is the kind of stuff that they probably need to do. If the top lane is... I feel like it's kind of unwinnable. Even with Chen ganking, he needs to pretty much stay there and harass a lot with his creeps. So maybe a more effective play is just to focus on shutting down the Drow. If you manage to do that, well, in this case, there is the Witch Doctor they get, but of course that's going to spill over a little bit onto the bottom lane. If they manage to secure that lane for them at least, then it's okay that Hvost is struggling a little bit, as long as the Drow isn't free farming. So it's okay for now. I still think Na'Vi need to accomplish way more than this in the early stage of the game.
Oh, nice deny by Goblack.
With these lanes.
Denying some easy gold for Fear, who's playing on this Drow, of course. Look at that helm. Is that not insane? I've never even seen that before. That is pretty ridiculous. It actually makes the hero almost look fun to play. So,
do you hate Beastmaster?
I think he's super underwhelming, but he's been coming back in stride a bit this tournament as well, I think. I don't know. Once he gets Ags, he can initiate from across the map, I suppose, so it almost makes his ult global, it feels. It's such a ridiculous Aghanim Scepter upgrade. And the thing that I do miss, I'll be perfectly honest, is having Tinker. I know that's crazy to say, but because it synergizes so well with the Hawk in general. Just any boost of travel pickup, which, looking at their lineup, they don't really have anybody that's necessarily going to pick it up early, so it's a little sad to see.
It looks like their entire lineup is built around boosting the PA as much as possible. Beastmaster Aura, Overcharge, Empower, and all of that is great and makes for a really strong PA. But she needs to have the farm first. Like those spells cannot compensate for a massive lack on farm on her. And well, the fact of the matter is, these lanes are not just being won by EG. They are crushing with this Drow Aura together with the 5 ranged heroes. Na'Vi are trying to just get a little bit done with the Chen here early on, as we see the engagement here on Funnick. They will have Maledict as well. The Cask actually bouncing to Roche.
That's unfortunate. Well,
I don't think he won't die.
If he gotten the Maledict off first, they actually might have been able to get that, but it was after the stunt had already taken place, and that's most of their damage. PPD picks up the Invisibility rune, and it's going to transition towards mid. Dendi bottling up. Doesn't have boots quite yet. It's in his stash. Don't think this is a kill. It's going to be really tough to get the Magnus in that case. Universe, on the other hand, well, he dodges the stun, gets out in time. Dendi, level 5 versus Sumail, level 5 as well. It's really difficult when I don't have access to this stuff, but we'll figure it out. So Universe it started out as a dual lane, then it was a solo off lane, and now it's back to the roaming from PPD. He's doing a really good job of roaming around. He helped secure that pressure in the mid lane a bit. But Phase Boot's now picked up by the Invoker in the mid lane. So Sumail going for Quas Wex. I don't think I've ever seen him go Exhort. Have you?
Good question. I think the previous game he played Invoker, he also played Quas Wex, but I believe I did not cast the game, but I think I caught the tail end of it. I can't remember for sure, but the really interesting thing about this Invoker mid lane is that Quas Wex Invoker historically he's pretty weak in lane, at least over the last year and a half or so since Invoker got nerfed a little bit for the Quas Wex build originally. He has not been faring too well in lane with the very low base damage he has, but Drow makes up for that and actually makes Quas Wex Invoker a very powerful laner, whereas usually you see Invokers mid often go for early points and exhort to be able to out-farm their opponent in lane. this is like the best of both worlds. You get the utility of Quaswex, and you still get farm because of the Drow. So I really like to see this. It's a very smart decision they've made as far as the draft goes. And well, if you're looking at Na'Vi, what they absolutely need to come back is they need relocate. They need to start making ganks with the Beastmaster level 6, and they need RPs. Like their entire lineup is built around landing stuff with their ultimates, whereas EG is way more flexible. They have Venge stuns to gank with. They have the cast to set up. Puck is a great initiator. Invoker, even like the amount of utility on EG's side, I feel like outscales Na'Vi quite a bit. So they really need levels. And you're just seeing it now. They're not really finding any openings on the map because the draft doesn't allow it.
Is it going to be a Vlad's on PA first item? He has the right items for it.
Looks like that's the case.
Interesting. What do you think about that?
I think he's getting this as some sort of I don't want to call it desperation because we're not that far in, but it's pretty good value right now when he's not getting too good farm. It's an item that benefits the entire team instead of just himself. And well, with the empowerment he can get from his team, perhaps it's enough. I'm still a little bit skeptical all in all about his farm, but the thing about this lineup is if they get one good team fight, and maybe the Vlad's contributes to that with the damage and of course the lifesteal for himself, Beastmaster and Magnus, and the auras are great for the creeps too, then that's going to be alright. But he does not have much health, and he's playing into an Invoker and a Puck. He could get blown up.
Yeah. Kind of a slow start to the game. Everybody's seems to be fine with the farmers. We're going to have a smoke here by PPD. Going to be going for Dendi in all likelihood. Here's the RP. He picked up his Arcane Boots. Bottle is on the Courier, however. Tornado's up. Do they have enough to kill him? This is going to be tough without a third member, especially with Chen in the back. As he's going to take a stun. Can't quite get the skewer off in time as the EMP does connect. Tornado, is that going to be enough to finish him off? Maybe with a couple right clicks. Not even needed. Tornado does a ton of damage.
Tornado got a damage buff, and then it got a reduction on the flying vision a couple of patches ago, but right there, damage coming into play. I think Sumail has him anyway with one attack of the face boost after with the old Tornado, but regardless, showing off that this can do quite a bit of damage. And the Drow are, of course, a key component in that kill, as now they're rotating down for Goblek. Won't find him, but at least securing the rune and just expanding their lead. I think EG have a pretty good idea of which direction this game is going in, as should Na'Vi. Chen being level 4 with one executed gank.
Yeah, it was first blood.
Should he have farmed more? I feel like he should have just flat out jungled more.
And he did start in the enemy jungle,
now.
Right? Or did he start in his jungle and then transition to enemy jungle?
I think he smoke ganked bottom from top.
Okay.
So he started in his jungle, rotated down. So of course there's a lot of travel time too, which should not be underestimated. It takes about 30 seconds to cross from one jungle to the other.
What were we watching? Was it Puppy that was level, like, or was this Enigma in the jungle? Like level 8 at 8 minutes?
He was level 8 at 6.5.
Was it?
So.
Was it
but that was Enigma.
Chen?
With Chen, you can realistically be level 6 at minute 5.5 if you stack well, or maybe even level 5. Level 8 comes a bit later, but the big breaking point for Chen is level 7. That's the one you really want to reach, and he's pretty far off. How are we looking for Io? Currently level about 5. This does not look particularly good for Na'Vi in this early game. It just seems like this draft is extremely limited in what it can perform so far, and they just have to farm up and hope for the best. But every single minute they're losing out on gold. It's more than the 3k gold and experience lead already for EG. That's with no towers claimed. And just 2 kills in the lane. That's
we're going to have another smoke attempt from both sides, in fact. Will they collide? Na'Vi going through the river. Sumail and PP are going to find their target in Van score pretty much right off the bat. Tornado's going to miss EMP as well. This could be disastrous as Chen comes from the flank. Universe. He's going to phase shift. Gets roared right off the bat, and down he goes. 2-2. Tied up.
Yeah, this is
Na'Vi.
It's the kind of stuff Na'Vi needs, but it's only 1 kill. Still, it's a kill, and we'll be getting some much-needed experience to both Chen and Io, who do participate. Currently now sitting at level 5.5 for both. This is what they needed. They need Beastmaster to move, set up the ganks, and that's one good gank so far. We'll probably be looking for another one, maybe in the top lane once again with his Roar.
And Sumail right now, I believe, working on his Orchid for the Invoker. And I don't know. I mean, it is favoring EG in the early stages, but Na'Vi, they have a game plan. Once they get this Blink Dagger on Dendi, which shouldn't be too far off at this point. Okay, it's kind of is. It's like 1,400 gold away, but obviously that is a hero that can catch up and farm thanks to the Shockwave, and he is a difficult gank. Let's see if they can go for it again. Aui's actually invisible. That is not a smoke. Cask is up. See how many times it bounces with the EMP.
Did
gonna
he
happen.
fail the snap, or did he not have that invoked? I think he didn't. He invoked EMP, so that's pretty
I think they
unfortunate.
thought they had enough time because the cask should have bounced back.
Yeah, that was like a 50-50 kill, I want to say. He had Tornado as a second spell, so he invokes EMP, and then he doesn't have Tornado as a result, and then he has a useless Ghost Walk. I think that's probably a kill if he invokes Cold Snap, actually. So a little bit of a mistake there from Sumail going for the EMP over that. It is a great spell. Obviously drains a lot of mana with level 5 Wex, but kind of hit or miss there. If the stun doesn't bounce, that kill doesn't happen, and that's the case there.
Top lane Universe. Phase shifting out is going to attempt to TP. Should be good to go. I think Na'Vi, as far as mid game is concerned, to get them into this, not that they're that far behind really, but I think the most important hero for them is actually Funnick on the Beastmaster. He's the hero that can cut a lot of space in between the team and Drow. I mean, typically Drow wants to stay in the back and have the aura stay active. And do you think Aghanim's... Well, he's going to get Blink first, but do you think Aghanim's... Oh, actually, he's not. He's going to be going Necro.
Yeah, I'm not sure about this first item book.
Very interesting.
I think the Blink Dagger would be a really nice choice as well. We've seen other games where Beastmaster really closes the gap between... We saw it in one of the tiebreaker matches. I believe Tongfu played Sniper, and the Beastmaster of Rave just destroyed the Sniper all game. Blink roared him every single fight. They followed through. I want to say it's a similar logic here as to why Blink Dagger could be good. Like you said, just get in on Drow, have PA follow up and get the kill. And another reason it would be good is that it starts the fight so that Beastmaster doesn't have to do a nice kill.
Witch Doctor gets destroyed. Tornado. Pops the EO in the air. EMP will connect. Of course, relocate in 2 seconds. We'll bring them back. And away they go. Funnick, although he's stuck all alone, he's going to take the Cold Snap, going to take the Vengeful Seared Stun, and drop to the deck. It's a 1-for-1 at the end. And Blink Dagger now.
Support for offlaner. Pretty good trade-off all in all for Evil Geniuses as they continue to absolutely dominate the last hit charts. Although Dendi and Khvost, I want to say they've managed to catch up quite a bit more than I thought they would. Dendi's sitting at 63, Khvost on 60.
Well, space has been created to some degree. Remember the top gank where Invoker was taking part. They didn't get anything out of that. In fact, it cost them a hero for EG. Blink Dagger extremely close for Dendi. And the question is, when do they start getting more aggressive? I thought it was going to be the Blink Dagger for Beastmaster, to be honest, but perhaps it's the one for Dendi.
I would really like to see Blink on both, just for the reason that they have multiple ways of initiating then Beastmaster can start the fight, and if EG try to reinforce, then Magnus can be the follow-up. As their drafts is right now, it's mainly Magnus that they're going to hope can get a good Blink RP, but you need to force the enemy into a position first, unless EG just walk up as a cluster and just get caught out, which is probably quite a bit unlikely.
There it is. Blink Dagger on Dendi.
And Mech. Good timings.
Onto Goblak. And that might spell the next phase for Na'Vi, as they probably want to get a little bit aggressive. There's 2 Troll. What are they actually called? Troll Summoner something?
Dark Troll Summoner, I think? Yeah.
Dark Troll Summoners. Okay. Are you in Dota TV?
Yeah.
Interesting. Why?
Don't ask questions to me.
Beastmaster level 8 at the moment. So I'm still trying to think about this Necro book pickup. This is really interesting. I guess we'll see it soon enough, as we do have a TP. Bunch of TPs mid for Na'Vi.
This is a big moment.
Tempting to go for Roche. They have all the creeps with them. They have Empower. They have PA. Do they have any minus armor? Is there any medallion? I don't think so.
This is going to take them a little bit, but the medallion, or the Vladimir's actually doing quite a bit of work as EG. They know this is up. Here we go.
Be huge. Tornado into EMP. This could be disastrous for Na'Vi. Mech is pop, but Goblak has no mana to speak of. It takes 1 stun and 1 auto attack to bring him down. Io saves a teammate. He's going to be back very shortly. Actually, it just goes up to the high ground. And in the end, it's just a Chen kill at the moment. Obviously, Roshan is not taken out quite yet.
What did Dendi RP?
Did he actually RP?
Did he RP the ground?
I'm not sure.
He might have been hit by a wave of terror as he tried to blink in an RP, and that's... I don't know if EG saw that. Maybe Venge
If they did, you think they'd get more aggressive on Roche, perhaps?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because if they saw that, they might actually try to get Roche for themselves. They have a really good Roshing lineup with the Venge minus armor, the aura from her, and Drow. They could kill this Roche within 20 seconds or so of his current health, but they do respect Na'Vi's team fighting potential still, and they will back out, although they got a free kill, basically. Did they also get the tower around the same time, the mid towers? Was that a little while
Yeah, there was
ago?
a tower that dropped.
Yeah. So, all in all, pretty big victory here for EG. Well, Well, considering how they started out, these kind of Drow bench lineups, we usually see the graph just keeping on going upwards, but it's taken this like a little bit of a bowl here in both the gold and experience graphs. So Na'Vi are still holding on pretty well in this.
Oh wow, we're going hardcore mode for Fear on Drow. Picks up the Blink Dagger. It's going to be a glass cannon. Is this a Mask of... I guess it is a Mask of Madness game. I doubt that's going to be an HOD, to be perfectly honest. What do you think? If you're going to go Blink, you might as well just go balls deep. Go Mask of Madness as well.
Yeah, or you get Vlad's on the Drow for another aura. How about that? Vlad's on a 5-range lineup.
Yeah. You always talk about how people kind of focus on the lifesteal for Vlad's as the armor is probably the bigger deal.
I mean, I still think even if you're running a 5-range lineup, Vlad's is still a pretty good item. Damage aura and armor aura should not be underestimated.
You don't get Vlad, you're doing it wrong. Is that what you say?
We'll see. Maybe Venge gets it sometime.
5-man smoke for EG. I feel like they should be out of smokes at this point. This has been so many used.
I would agree with Mask of Madness, though, over Home of the Dawn. He might need to replace it later on for a Satanic, but that's way down the line. I think the Mask of Madness would be a nice choice.
Oh,
Universe's smoke breaks. They know Vanscore's there.
Luzy Orb's going to scout him out. He's going to tether across the cliff to the secret shop. He's going to be good to go.
What a cast!
Black's going to go to the right clicks along with a cold snap.
What a hacker. Seriously. That Witch Doctor cask was just...
It's OP, man, especially against Beastmaster, the summons soon to come from the Necro book.
100% override VPK Witch Doctor player.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense. Or now on Witch Doctor himself, and it just seems like this Roche, nobody can get it. I mean, EG has a great lineup for enclosed spaces, just with the Invoker, if nobody else. Obviously, Puck and Witch Doctor as well, but it's going to be tough for Na'Vi to get that. I mean, technically speaking, at what point can PA solo Roche? I don't think it's at that point, because Vlad's with a level of coup de grace, I don't think that's enough. Maybe with the Chen creeps.
Yeah, she could. That might actually be a better play for Na'Vi is to just do that, but that's still really risky playing into this EG lineup. They can swap her out, just kill her. There's the Mask of Madness, by the way. They can swap her and kill her. They can engage. They can scout it out without committing at all with a Tornado, with a Puck Orb. They could even... maybe they don't have any other options than that. That's still quite a few. As they will be trying exactly that right now. Vos goes in. Okay, here comes
their whole team. Screw that.
Looked like they were going to go...
Oh, they have an entire zoo with them. And actually, they have an Ogre Magi. What is that even called now? The Ice Armor creep.
Yep.
That is going to be quite helpful for them. So basically like having a Lich. As here we have Cold Snap. Orchid as well on Dendi. He's going to be worse for wear. He's going to be fine for now. He has the Wisp healing him up. And Wisp, in fact, is going to be the one to force Sumail out completely. Well, Witch Doctor has his ult. Funnick. He's going to get coiled completely, and the Gust almost gets him on the cliff. It's going to be enough for the kill. PA picks up the Aegis. Do they want to fight is the question. Cass is going to continue to bounce. Gallblack. He has a Hand of God. Finally uses along with that mechanism. It's going to keep everybody alive. There's the Witch Doctor ult. It's not going to be quite enough to take out Gallblack. In fact, PPD is just going to take a right click to the face, get swapped into death. But Chen does fall in the end. It's a 2 for 2 at the current moment in time. Aui's getting initiated by Chavos. The right clicks will commence. He has no mana on AUI. Another Stifling Dagger into Phantom Strike should be enough. Or just a right click will suffice. As Dendi gets a double kill on the backside of things. Fear the last survivor for EG. Just using the Mask of Madness to farm up.
That was not the outcome I was expecting when they got a free kill on the Beastmaster to begin with. But after that, they're kind of in a peculiar position where Roshan has already died. There are 2 heroes in the bottom right flanking and getting the Beastmaster kill, sure. But their way into the fight is really long and pretty difficult. The Beastmaster Necrobook did a lot of work in that fight on PPD, drained a lot of mana, did a lot of damage. And overall, they just couldn't seem to find the right angle as Fear needed to retreat early on. He's still such a big part of their damage in these team fights. And well, after they've used a couple of their key spells, that Ghost PA is pretty difficult to deal with. He was struggling pretty much early on. He is looking really good.
Is he going
now.
SNY your favorite item? Or is that
I sure hope
Yasha
he is.
BKB?
That's so... Oh, it's actually
I'm pretty sure
that.
It's going to be a BKB though, right?
Yeah, I would say.
BKB is so good this game.
Yes, I would agree with that.
casual Yasha is what syndereN's really hoping for, yeah.
Want to point out Dendi's skill build in this game. We've seen a couple of Magnuses in this tournament maxing out Skewer before leveling up in power. It's pretty standard for Na'Vi when they run a melee core with Magnus that they prioritize in power over Skewer, getting 1 or 2 value points early on and then maxing out in power, which I completely agree with for any game that follows this kind of stereotype of styles, if you will.
What do you think?
Pretty good. Na'Vi are totally back in this.
Well, we have a level 2 Necro on to Beastmaster, but for Fear himself, sounds like a speech made by one of our presidents. But for Fear, he has the casual Yasha. He has the... I guess this is going to be a Manta first, but what does he go after that? Like, is there any specific item you think would be great? BKB is not good at all this game.
No, this is not a BKB game. It only counters Phantom Strike, pretty much.
And
That's
the tether. The tether slow.
That's
actually
true.
Very important.
I'm sure Io would love to go in behind the fight. Or
Well, to
have his
relocate,
teammate
why
run all the
not?
way in. Yeah,
It's
oh,
definitely
it's true.
possible.
Could work.
Looks as if the tier 1 will go the way of Na'Vi.
I think he'll get MKB and go full glass cannon and just rely on the fact that his team sets him up properly so he
Really?
can actually kill the PA. That's a problem their lineup has, is that if this PA gets big, they have no way of killing her off apart from MKB
I
on
mean,
Drow.
if PA gets a BKB, she can reliably get next to Drow with no problem anyway.
Oh,
for
there's
the
a
most
couple.
part.
There's a couple of tools they have against it. They have the swap. He has the blink if he's fast on his fingers. They will
Is
probably
Fear
get.
fast in his fingers?
They'll probably get 1 or 2 4 steps. That's a good question. He is getting old after all, almost as old as you, which is like 2 centuries.
Well, at what point, this is actually a really good question, at what point for Dota do you think reaction time becomes a problem? At what age? Because from my Counter-Strike days, it's like 22 is when you start becoming an old man, and he's 25.
I don't know. I feel like that's put way too much emphasis on in Dota compared to shooters. I would
No, I agree with
completely
that,
agree.
yeah.
In shooters, that reactions is
But
a
it-
lot more important.
yeah.
But for this, we've seen before QQQ retired. I think he was the oldest player in the scene at age 28, and I still think he played a great support. And reaction was not his issue in the games. It was all. I mean, maybe you lose 5% on your reaction time, but you have more experience. You're more mature. This is also something that has value in.
I think
Quite a bit in the
for
games, so.
compared to shooters, IQ is probably a little bit more important.
Yeah,
in
this is.
Dota.
I want to say it's less about speed and more about strategy overall. So it plays a negligible role in this game.
Well, Navi's going
compared
to
to
trade
other
their tier 1 top for a tier 2 bottom, although that's your favorite tower in the game at the top lane, so perhaps you think it's an even trade overall.
1 tower for 2, good trade.
Yeah.
Navi easily coming out ahead in this one, of course. They did get the bottom tier 1 themselves as well, right, in that push. I think they got 2 towers in a row, or was I seeing?
Well, I
things?
assume that that's the case since that's what you said, so.
They definitely didn't. Why are you baiting me into stuff like this?
I'm not baiting. I just, for some reason, I assume you're correct.
All right,
even though
that's
I think
actually
you're
an
wrong.
even trade then. So
A
you
tier-
were right.
So I was right. So I was actually being sarcastic. A
Yeah.
Tier 2 for a tier 1. You can
Yeah,
still
so in
consider-
terms of map control, the tier 1 tower in the mid lane for Dire is way more important than the tier 2, I would say. At least in this point in the game when the lanes don't get pushed out as
It
fast.
wasn't a mid tower, though.
No, they lost their top tier
Yeah.
1 and they got the bottom tier 2.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think EG can be okay with that trade. The gold difference isn't as big as it used to be. The tier 2s used to give a lot of gold, and it's not quite the same anymore. But yeah, I guess overall a pretty even trade all in all. And it's important for EG to get access to the Na'Vi jungle. They need to be able to get in there. It's still very scary against, of course, relocate as well as the Hawks that could be anywhere. But if EG are trading on map control, I think they're doing the right thing.
Blink daggers galore. One picked up by Sumail on his Invoker.
Senses it coming and gets out right on time.
Of course, has the Orchid to work with as well. And Dendy should have his BKB by now. Last we checked, it was extremely close. We're going to have another smoke by EG. They're just buying these up right when the timer comes up, I feel. And they're going to transition their way through the river with Sumail defending at the bottom lane. Not going to take that Rune Chlobost. Right-clicking this tier 1. Has the Manta at base. It's going to be, oh, the courier might get sniped here. Oh, Dendy might be found out as well. He gets silenced right away by Universe into a coil, into everything, and down he goes with extreme ease. Chavo's pops BKB extremely early, goes in for Fear. Can't quite catch up at the current moment in time, earns up as well, and blinks out to safety. Lots of things.
Oh, wow,
There's the
what a-
blink initiation on a Universe. Also gets destroyed. And the fight continues. AUI kind of stuck on the cliff here. Unless they have a 4-step, he's in all likely going to be dead. But he gets a beautiful Death Ward off. Somehow does not get canceled in the grand scheme of things. And right now it's a 3 for 2 in EG's favor. And Chavos gets gusted, gets stunned. Fear trying to use his Mask of Madness to get away. Chavos is going to be unsilenced very shortly. Stifling Dagger soon to follow, I assume. And he's just going to focus on PPD. One crit, a couple right clicks, swaps out. Just delaying the inevitable. It's a 3 for 3.
Did you see that round the head roar?
Round the head?
Round the head. So he was casting Roar in a direction and Puck blinked behind him. And he actually roared while his back
It was a 180 spin dunk move.
It was actually no scope blind roar behind the back hitting the puck. That was a really important precast for Funnig actually, because he prevented Universe from getting his full combo off. He blinks silences, does not get the orb off, does not phase shift. He even had, I do believe he even had the Yules in that fight, but has no time to react, so very important here from Funnig. Also ultimately results in a top tier 1 tower being denied here for Evil Geniuses. And it looks like Fear will indeed get the MKB. He has the Demon Edge building towards it. I think that is the choice you have to go in this game. Generally, you don't like when you're playing Drow that you have to go full-on aggressive. It's nice to have that one defensive item, which arguably you could say Manta to some extent does, and then he can gust the PA away. While PA is in BKB, he is in trouble, though. So he really has to choose his movement and his positioning very carefully.
Lots of BKBs were popped very prematurely for Na'Vi, most notably Chavos. Of course, Dandy was just completely out of the fight. He got blown up before he could use any of his skills. He has a BKB as well, but just didn't have the opportunity. I'm not sure if he actually had that in his inventory during that fight, but either way, went down extremely fast. And this is a pretty damn even game. Funnig, of course, we talked about his Necro. It's been level 3 for a little bit now. Now I think you pretty much have to go mobility.
Yes.
I mean, would you be shocked if he just doesn't go Blink? Or Force Staff, or even Ags?
Shocked is a big word. I would be shocked if he gets Rapier.
Oh.
I would be surprised if he doesn't go Blink. I would not be shocked, because there's quite a few other items that would be beneficial for the team. Well, you said mobility. You didn't say Blink specifically, right? Because I think Force Staff would actually be a really nice choice, too. Alternatively, the Ags we talked about would also be nice. That kind of eliminates the need. Oh, that's also a big word, but it reduces the need for mobility when you have that Ag Scepter, of course.
I think actually with all these BKBs being picked up by Na'Vi for Dendi and Chavos specifically, Puck should get an Ags.
I could
the breaking point goes through, the stun goes through BKB, which means they're forced to stay there.
Oh, look, SUNSfan, he has a point booster. It's for Scotty.
You're talking about Fear?
No, the Puck.
Oh, Puck. Okay. Yeah.
If Fear had a point booster, that would be shocking.
No, I was actually gonna mention Fear potentially picking up a Scotty later in the game.
This ain't Illidan, dude.
I know.
This is Fear.
Illidan gave it a bad name. Come on. I mean, if he needs stats, if he needs some sort of survivability, what does he go for?
That was also the old Illidan, though. The new Illidan's legit. He has really improved a lot as a player.
I don't know what the hell happened. Somebody just slapped him across the face, and he's good to go.
Every time he missed the last hit, he got punched by the coach. Oh, here's the dust.
Dust. Look at the boar slow on the one.
Okay.
Okay, well, the BKB used. That's got to be an 8 or 7 second BKB.
All right, team, I forced a BKB.
I traded my life for a BKB charge.
That coup de grace.
It sounds like an autobiography of some really sad player. Well, Chavos is going to continue to farm. Of course, he did pick up that Basher extremely recently, and
he's outscaling everyone. Empower, doing work as
he doesn't even need a Battle Fury. You know, it's just that good.
As well as the fact that he hasn't died, but neither has Fear. Right. So they're actually completely tied on CS, pretty much. So it's just Na'Vi getting the better exchanges and fights. 5 more assists on the PA, as well as, of course, the 1 Roshan kill that Na'Vi did manage to grab. This game looks like it could be a thriller, at least compared to the other games we've seen today. This could get really, really close. Okay, to be fair, the Cloud9 game 1 was also really a thriller against Big God.
That was amazing. That was probably the best game. Well, that was the best game of today. And as far as the main tournament in general, well, that and the other Cloud9 game as well, which they did win.
Here comes Roche again.
Roche number 2, and I don't think EG's close enough to even contest this at all. So it's going to be a free Aegis for Na'Vi. I do have to say, the Aghanim Scepter that's going to be picked up by Puck at some point is going to be huge. Because just think of the possibilities. If you're a PA, you actually cannot Blink Strike out of that coil and get in good position to get Drow range. Drow range just has to position himself or herself, depending on who you're talking about, Fear or Drow herself. And not a whole lot they can do. But of course, they do have a ton of mobility. They have the PA, they have the Magnus, they have the Beastmaster. As long as they're not grouped up together, the Dream Coil can't lock all 3 down. As Na'Vi's now going to group up,
this is
have an amalgamation of creeps.
Okay, Na'Vi, here we go.
Chavos with the Aegis and the BKB. It's going to take a cast to the face. The faced. Universe. Forces out the Manta style. And there's the fortification.
EG are going to have to do something very, very soon. Just not even defending the tower, I think, is is kind of a risky play. It's going to get really difficult now as they are looking to aggress. Of course,
well, swap is up. Of course, it's only level 1, I believe, and that is very short range. The creep's getting low for Goblak and company. Does have a Hand of God if he wants to save him, but he's just going to give it to Sumail just as a tribute of sort.
Oh, Na'Vi didn't lose anything there, apart from their book. They're just going to go in again. They forced a glyph and almost got a tier 3 with no commitment whatsoever. Here comes Ghost again, has Manta.
Oh,
there's the swap.
Manta dodges the stun initially, pops the BKB. Tornado's going to clip a couple, but Khavos is just right-clicking the crap out of Vengeful Spirit. Down she goes. Big RP from Denny. He's going to skewer on the other side of the cliff. Sumail, if you're extremely low, they're just going to drop like sacks. And this is ridiculous. Navi's barely taken any damage. The only damage right now is on Khavos with that Aegis. They might get racks out of this. There's no buyback for Drow or Sumail in the Invoker. This is a full rack, syndereN.
Yeah, if they would have taken a tier 2 in another lane, they could get 2 lanes right now, but this is still more than enough. They can't kill the PA. That's the problem. Even with the MKB on Drow, she has 30 armor. She has IO backing her up. And even if they kill her, she has the Aegis. The only thing Na'Vi needs to do with this strategy is to jump in with the PA, keep her alive, and avoid getting completely destroyed with their team at the back lines.
Wait a second.
Be patient.
I just thought.
And land the Blink RP.
Did they fix the IO relocate or Shen Test of Faith for Skewer? I can't remember if they fixed that.
I also can't remember if you can fountain skewer anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be. That's just Na'Vi style. Like, you can't do the. Hey, you can't do the fountain hook anymore. They'll just pick Magnus, Wisp, and Chen. No big deal.
Like building their entire tournament strategies. How can we get the enemy team into the fountain?
How can we make sure Valve just hot fixes something right after this game? That's how you do it.
Our reputation is built on how we get patches after every tournament.
That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Yeah. As Abyssal Blade now picked up by Khavos. I seem to remember they did something with the skewer.
It might have been fixed.
Yeah, it's been so long now, and we have.
Oh,
my lord!
Okay.
Can't even get the camera there in time. He dies so fast. Universe blown up. 60 seconds on the deck. Of course, he does have buyback. Not going to need it in all likelihood. Although Aegis is still up for 2 minutes. Does Na'Vi force the issue?
I don't see why not. Use the Aegis while you have it. They still have 2 minutes left on it.
Oh God! Nice swap by PPD. He's going to save his comrade, and yeah, it's in all likely going to cause his own death. He gets roared. Actually, Sumail does a 1200 crit for Khavos. Just brings him down. Make that a second kill for him, and they can just take tier 2. BKB still up. Aegis. Another minute, I believe, left on that cooldown. It's going to be a tier 2, if not more. Of course, the Necro was popped.
Confirmed. Now we don't give a shit about the laning stage. It's okay to be 3k behind when you have this kind of draft. We're going to win one good team fight, get Roche, and then boom.
My, look at that drop.
The dip.
Holy jeez, that is ridiculous. Puck back in 5 seconds, but Sumail does not have buyback. That is 30 seconds without an Invoker. As here come the crits. Fear.
No, they don't.
Getting initiated on. Oh, RP gets
quick
canceled by the
silence.
Waning Rift. But again, those spells were not wasted. They get a free tier 3, if not more. Applying all the pressure to the melee racks. And this is going to be 2 racks for Na'Vi. They're just playing amazing, and the last 10 minutes have been on spot with execution.
It's kind of crazy to think how much they can accomplish without even using anything,
Wow.
man. That was insane. I thought when Drow got the MKB, they might be able to output enough damage to deal with the PA. But just her basic armor should not be underestimated. It's one thing that you can cut through the evasion, but at the point they get it, she has 30 armor, 2,000 health, an Aegis, and the entirety of the lineup have all the items they need. They have the IO with Ghost Scepter Urn, they have the mech on Chen, multiple heals, and Dendy just needs to land 1 or 2 good RPs. I can tell you, empowered PA is like the most broken shit ever if she doesn't get controlled.
Indeed.
Absolutely ridiculous. Wow. That was not the outcome I was expecting after the early game. Maybe for Na'Vi to come back, but not to win in 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I think with Drow Ranger, it's kind of... Sometimes it feels like it's almost an all-in thing. As long as you can get as long as the enemy has some mobility to get close to her, everybody's damage just goes basically down the toilet. And they had 3 heroes with amazing initiation possibilities. They had great sustainability with Chen. I'm not going to say it was the draft. The execution for Na'Vi was unbelievable in the last 10 minutes. And this is the difference between them and a lot of teams in the tournament. They were able to capitalize on mistakes by EG and just take home the win. Ridiculous. But with that, unless you have anything else to say, let's see what the panel has to say. Friends, please take it away.
Story repeats itself. An amazing performance from Na'Vi, taking away EG. an amazing draft. We were talking about that at the beginning. It's not about outdrafting EG or countering their strat, but rather have something that was so well all around that could withstand the early game and just dominate once the PA got going. Guys, what do you think of Navi this day?
PA was just a great hero for that draft. You're up against mass physical damage, so you get a hero that has built-in evasion, good Wisp partner, synergizes well with Empower, and hey, Inner Beast is just a nice bonus. The Hawk great to go with the relocate ganks, though we didn't see that many in that game, but Superman PA just it seemed to be the trump card. They had no solution. They didn't have a Beastmaster Roar, they didn't have a Magnus RP, they had no lockdown. Once the PA gets BKB, I feel like the only way EG wins fights is if they either get the puck eggs and somehow manage to break the coil, or if they just kite the PA, wait out the BKB, and then take the fight.
Puck X plus swap on the bench.
Plus swap, yeah.
It felt like EG's plan was to win all 3 lanes because they had the Drow Aura, they were running a 2-1-2 dual lane step, and then snowball from there.
And it was working. Universe
Well,
gets the kill against the tri-lane early
The
on.
big issue was they only won 2 of the lanes. The one lane which should have been the easiest, the off lane for Funnick gets first blood. With the help of the Chen, he goes into the jungle, finds the first blood, and that to me was a very influential kill. That kind of changed a lot of the tempo of the game for EG. It just meant that, Funnick at one point was actually the most farmed Na'Vi hero, like around 5-6 minutes in the game. He got a fast level 6, and then it was his gank top that killed the puck and prevented the EG snowball. I feel like that one kill changed a lot of the outcome of the game.
It was a really nice move by Goblek as well, going into the Radiant jungle early on, and when Funnick goes for that gank, the lane's pretty far pushed up. The ward that EG had saw the rune, but did not see the jungle at all, did not see any of the rotations, because frankly, you don't really expect offlane Beastmaster and a Chen to be applying that much pressure early on. But the Beastmaster offlane is surprisingly devastating with the 2 boars.
Little boars, yeah.
They do a lot of work.
They really add up. And Winter, we were talking about this game and we were talking about how Navi did very well. Is there something that IG could have done differently once the draft was done?
I don't think so though, because after they picked their first 4 heroes, we already knew how they were going to set up their lanes and how they were going to play the game, and the PA was like what LD said, was a really good last hero for Navi. That hero we
You need to get in the lobby.
That hero actually was able to withstand a lot of the pressure, and he was able to carry them with the Magnus and Power and all the heroes that complement well with the PA. Probably if I would say what they could change was like maybe the death, the first blood was really something that could be avoided, like because there was no hero in the lane. Like the Drow was farming in the lane, there was no one, and probably communication issue, maybe warning Aoi that Funnick is not in the lane, be careful.
It's not that obvious of a rotation, though, because he could just be going to stack Ancients as an offlane Beastmaster. The lane's push, normally that's for Beastmaster's backing, not going in.
At the same time, he was getting really greedy. He threw the cask on the neutral camp.
Yeah.
One was Goblek's Ursa, and the other was a neutral. And he kept right-clicking
No,
it.
he tried to kill the
he was-
small one, the
he was
small creep.
never
He tried to kill the small
Was
creep,
he
that's
even
why.
close? He wasn't even that close.
No.
He got down to like half HP.
It was
so
just unnecessary, basically.
he was never going to get the kill on it, but he just wanted to like get it down to half HP. So it was, I don't know. He wasn't really accomplishing anything. He was just kind of trying to waste Goblek's time and get the scouting information, but he overstayed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And coming into the next game, EG probably has to do a lot of thinking about Navi. If you talk about these 2 teams, EG seems like the favorite in paper, but once in the group stage, and now again, Navi seems to have the number.
I would have said they were the favorites before the tournament. If you told me these 2 teams were both going to make it to the main bracket. Frankly, I would have been surprised to hear that about Navi, but I would have said before the tournament, even after day 1, maybe even after day 2, but by the time the group stage was over, I would say they looked pretty evenly matched, and Navi, if anything, seemed to be the hotter team. So, yeah, it's just interesting to see Navi's trajectory. This is a team that it looked like they might even disband after DAC. Like, let's imagine Navi gets knocked out of the wild card, doesn't even make it into the main event. They barely even made it to DAC in the first place. They bombed out of Star Ladder. They just kicked FNG, and now Asus Polar is doing better at Star Ladder than Navi. It's just crazy how the story's changed. All of a sudden, we're talking about Navi as one of the big threats from the West, a team that maybe even can make a run at top 6, top 4. Now, this is not how Navi's thinking. Right now, they're thinking, let's just win game 2 of this series and win and move on. But the fun thing is, as spectators, we get to sit back and kind of see the storyline.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool.
We're going to go into a break now, but before going, I want to ask Winter one thing. As a player, do you think that teams get more powerful and weaker depending on the metagame? And that maybe one of the reasons why Navi wasn't so strong in the past year or so was because the metagame didn't adapt to their playstyle?
That's one point, but the other point I could see quite evident in their team play style when they were with Puppy and Kuroki. It felt that sometimes the team didn't work very well as a unit, and it wasn't even the meta affecting them much. Obviously, Dandy didn't get to play his more preferred heroes, but sometimes, you know...
I need to interrupt you for a second. Let's go to team interest, which are going on right now in China. So we're going to go silent, and we're going to talk a little bit about EG. It looks like this.
He's willing to learn.
I think Dota at the
Can
age
we
of
have
7,
sound? No?
I think the more you play, the better you get. So there's nothing like you are born to play this game.
While we've played together a while, like we're still a relatively new team, but as you get more experience as a team, you already start to weed out some of those problems. But since we're a newer team, we're gonna have to weed out all those problems if we want to win.
It's more about getting a good team around you. So you can be a really good player and you won't be recognized, but then once you get a good team around you, then you become like a top player.
Just really happy that they put on this big tournament for a bunch of teams. It's nice to have another major tournament other than the international every year. So I'm looking forward to some great games from us and other teams as well.
Our goal for this tournament is to win it. So we came here to win. We've been practicing, we boot camp. So our goal is definitely to win.
Sahil Aurora, Universe, United States.
Peter Dagger, PPD, United States.
Curtis Ling, AUI 2000, Canada.
Clinton Loomis, Fear, United States.
Sumail Hassan, Sumail, Pakistan.
Hello, my nickname is Dandy. I play for Team Navi. I really love it, and if I would have another chance to choose what I want to do in my life, I would probably choose it again, because everything that happened to me and happening still, I think I'm a lucky guy and I love it.
Команда сейчас, ну, я говорил, уже не в лучшем положении находится. Вот, мы не всегда можем найти общий язык, но стараемся как-то поменять все это.
Наша команда сейчас, ну, начну сначала. Вообще у нашей команды сейчас довольно-таки сложный период в плане доты, так как мы где-то проигрываем, где-то выигрываем, но больше на самом деле проигрываем и проигрываем себе сами, то есть и это нас... But I think we are ready and we are capable of being everyone if we try our best and everything work well. Вообще у нас очень дружный коллектив, даже при наших поражениях, даже при наших ссорах мы пытаемся это все решить на месте, но если не получается, мы решаем это потом.
We just playing our own game, and sometimes it works, sometimes it's not. But we prepared for this tournament, and I think we will show good Dota. Hope we get more tournaments like this in the future.